This video will demonstrate the administration of enteral feeds by an alternative route such as nasogastric. The administration of oral feeding workflow is addressed in the infant feeding paediatrics video. Enteral feeds via alternate methods such as nasogastric tubes are to be placed only by a medical officer or dietitian. As you can see, this patient has a current nasogastric tube feed order. The first is a bolus feed order. It is vital that the entire feed order is reviewed prior to administration. This includes the special instructions, which can be viewed by hovering over the word instructions. As you can see, the special instructions contain specific and important information such as the strength, additives and administration instructions. If the nurse would like to review the continuous feed for overnight feeds, they would navigate to the PRN Continuous tab in Care Compass. The continuous overnight feed is visible here. For the purpose of this video, the bolus feed order will be demonstrated. After reviewing the order in full, the nurse will navigate to the interactive view. Do not select the task and click Document within the Care Compass, as this functionality will take you to the incorrect interactive view band. Within interactive view, select Paediatric lines and devices. Within the Paediatric lines and devices, select gastrointestinal tube information. When a nasogastric tube is first inserted, a new dynamic group needs to be created. This is completed once at the time of insertion. Once the dynamic group has been created, all future relevant information will be documented against that dynamic group. When documenting an enteral feed via nasogastric tube, enter clinically applicable information. It's important to note here that not all fields need to be documented against. It is a case of document by exception. If it is clinically indicated, it is required to be documented. To document the pH, the nurse will right-click on Litmus pH confirmation field and enter comments with pH reading. Enter the volume administered. This is reflective of the volume that was administered via the nasogastric tube or alternative method. Any oral intake is to be documented within the infant feeding amount taken field. For example, if the patient is given an oral feed with a nasogastric top-up, the volume of feed consumed orally will be documented within infant feeding and document the volume administered via nasogastric tube as demonstrated in this video. Sign off the documentation. Following the documentation within gastrointestinal tube information, the nurse will navigate to the fluid balance. As it can be seen here, the nasogastric tube dynamic group has pulled through to the fluid balance, and the volumes documented have populated on the fluid balance. The nurse will need to add a comment against the volume of feed to indicate the type of feed. This is done by right-clicking on the value and entering comment. Following the administration and documentation of the feed, the nurse will navigate back to Care Compass and mark the bolus feed task as done. This will remove the task from your list. If the feed administered was express breast milk, the nurse would need to have the witness co-sign the EBM within the infant feeding band. The ongoing documentation of the enteral feed via nasogastric tube will follow the workflow demonstrated. Remember, it is important to document in the correct interactive view band. Therefore, do not select the enteral feed order in Care Compass and select Document. Follow the steps that have been demonstrated and mark the task as done within Care Compass. This concludes our video demonstration for administration of enteral feeds. Other videos available relating to paediatric feeds include Ordering enteral feeds, Paediatrics, and Infant feeding Paediatrics. The Metro South digital website has useful quick reference guides relating to enteral feeds and infant feeding, such as enteral feed bolus, enteral feed continuous, enteral feed nurse administration, and infant feeding Paediatrics. Please contact your educators if further information is required.